So, this talk we are going to look into insights of insights in the linear programming. So, we are given a optimization problem, linear programming problem of the form maximize z is equal to cx, subject to constraints ax is less than or equal to b, and all coefficients of b are greater than 0, we are going to assume, and x is an n-dimensional vector which is greater than or equal to 0. So C is a m-dimensional row vector 1 cross n, I am sorry. X is a n-dimensional vector n cross n cross 1. So the thing is, this is 1 cross n, this is n cross 1, B is a m cross 1 matrix, and A is a m cross n matrix. That is to say, there are m linear inequality constraints, and x vector, as is always standard in linear programming, is greater than or equal to 0. So x1, x2 to xn are all greater than or equal to 0, non-negative constraint. Now this thing we can convert it into a augmented matrix form, where we write the objective function again same maximize z, which is c times of x, subject to we add slack variables here. So if there are m equations, m inequality constraints less than or equal to type of constraints, m slack variables xs1, xs2 up to xsm, all greater than or equal to 0 are added, and the equation is converted into this augmented form, and xs also has to be greater than or equal to these slack variables are also to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So once we have put this in this form, we can write the simplex method both in a algebraic form and the tabular form. So in the algebraic form, we write it as z minus cx is equal to 0. That is the first equation here which you are trying to maximize. And then the constraints more or less straightforward, ax plus m cross m identity matrix into xs is equal to b. If we rearrange it in a table form, so what we do is we treat z also as a variable, so that's the first variable. Then x1 to xn are the variables of the given linear programming problem. Then we have added, because there are m less than or equal to constraints, we have added m slack variables which are numbered here as xn plus 1 to xm, and which are compactly shown here as x of s. So what we have written is z minus c of x is equal to 0, z minus c of x is equal to 0. So 1 times of z minus c1 times x1 minus c2 times x2 minus cn times xn is equal to RHS, which is 0. Coefficients associated with the slack variables in the objective function are 0. And the coefficient matrix AX, so first row of A is A11 to A1n, second row of A is A21, A22 to A2n, and the last row of A is am comma 1, m comma 2, am comma 1, m comma 2, and so on up to amn plus x of n plus m is equal to b of m, So that's the last constraint that is there. So this is exactly this same thing put in the tabular form. This we call it as row 0. These are the row 1 to row m, and initially the basic variables are taken as the slack variables xn plus 1 to xn plus m are the slack variables. So they will take value of b1, b2 to bm. since these are taken to be greater than 0, this basic variables are greater than or greater than 0. The non-basic variables will be all set to 0 because we are setting x1 to b1, xn plus 1 to b1, xn plus 2 to b2, and xn plus m to bm. And the non-slack, non-basic variables, these are right now the basic variables. These are the, at the beginning, these are the basic variables, and these are the non-basic variables, and they are set to 0. Now we can arrange the same thing in a matrix notation, where we take variables as, in this column vector, z is a variable, first variable, x1 to xn is the second variable, I have shown it as boldface x, xn plus 1 to xn plus m is the next set of slack variables shown here as xs. So the first equation is z minus c times of x, z minus c times of x plus 0 times of x times of x, because x of x slack variable is not appearing here. So a 0 vector, m dimensional row vector 0 times x of s is going to be equal to this scalar 0. And then the constraint matrix we write here, 8, there is nothing coming with respect to z. So this whole thing is set to 0. This column is set to 0. A times of x plus im times of x of s, and just for the making it clear that im times of x of s is 1 1 1 1 1 and times x n plus 1 up to x n plus m, which is same as basically x n plus 1 to x n plus m. This is going to be equal to, this is going to be equal to the b vector, which is nothing but b1 b2 to bm. So this becomes the initial tabulo. This becomes this becomes our initial tabulo, and this is how we write it in the tabulo form. We just capture this part of it, we don't write the remaining part of it. But since all manipulations, row operations that we do here will turn to be, when those row operations are repeated on this 0 vector here, they will continue to remain 0. So therefore writing this is irrelevant, and since we are not shuffling any rows or columns, so we don't have to write this. So we just write in the tabulo form this particular thing. Now what I have shown here in the row 0, what I have shown in the yellow, this is called the row vector t. In the notation later on, this is called the row vector t. T stands for basically tabulo, and this part corresponding to the linear inequality constraints of the type less than or equal to, for that we use the notation capital T. This 1 0 0 0 0 we are not going to, we are excluding it, because again in tabulo whenever we do any operations here, pivot is coming always from this part. We do any operations here, this 0 vector will remain 0, and when they are subtracted from 1, the 1 will remain 1. So throughout this doesn't change in the tabulo approach, so that's why it's not written, only this is written as t and only this is written as capital T. Now in a tabulo, the submatrix of T corresponding to basic variables is a m cross m identity matrix. At the beginning it is a m cross m identity matrix, and every tabulo when we do the updation, we again bring it back to this form. Corresponding cost coefficients in the row, in the 0th row or in the row 0 or are all 0. Again if they are there, we do Gaussian elimination kind of procedure to bring it back to 0. In the initial tabulo matrix, IM is the basic matrix. This is the basic matrix. Because it's an identity matrix, its inverse is also identity and at the same place. Now we start doing a bit of diving deep. So first thing is that we are writing z minus cx minus 0 times of xs is equal to 0. N variables given, slack variables added. They don't have directly any cost coefficient associated with them. Therefore z is equal to 0. Now assume that finally, means what I am going to say is that assume at the optimal that the basis has no slack variable xs. This is just an assumption I have made. This is not a restrictive assumption. I will deal with this in the end. So this is what I call it as case A. So what we are going to say is that finally when we conclude at the optimal or anywhere the slack variable is never going to be that the basis has no slack variable in it. That's what I am trying to say. Okay. So now let's start manipulating things a bit. So we have a times of x plus I times of slack variable is equal to b. Now I am saying that basic variables are all coming from x1 to xn at the optimal solution, which I am trying to investigate in more detail. So this is coming, x vector can be written as this plus this m cross m identity matrix times of xs is equal to b. So in other words, I am saying that a times of x is equal to b can be written as b n I m xb xn xs is equal to b. This is what I am trying to write. Now suppose I multiply this by b inverse from left hand side, and to see that the equation does not undergo any change, the information content of the equation remains same, I have to multiply it by b inverse on the RHS also. So then what do I get? I will get this b inverse b will become identity matrix. This matrix will m cross m into m cross n minus m, b inverse n I will get here, and then I will get b inverse times xb xn xs to be equal to b inverse of b. Or since the non-basic variables will be all set to 0, xs is also non-basic. Now the way I have described it, xs is also non-basic, xn is the non-basic part of the original vector x. So these are going to be set to 0, and therefore xb star is going to be equal to b inverse of b times of b. At intermediate step it is not star, it is just xb is equal to b inverse of b, and this has to be again greater than or equal to 0, otherwise the problem is infeasible. We will assume that it is strictly greater than 0. Okay, so now I can write this same equation as xb on the left hand side and everything else on the right hand side. So b minus b minus b inverse of n minus b inverse of xs. And then when I look at z, which is c times of x, and if I partition it as c1 to cb, and then if I partition the basis vectors, I write them as first in my partition for convenience, and the non-basic vectors as the later for convenience, then I can write this as cbxb plus cn xn. And now I can substitute for xb here, and if I substitute for xb here, this becomes CB into B inverse B minus B inverse N minus B inverse XS times of, I already substituted for XB, plus Cn Xn. This is Z. So therefore, Z becomes CB B inverse B, and this is a constant, times minus CB B inverse N, CB B XB I have to write here. I am sorry, I should have written it as Xn. I forgot here to write. I am sorry, 1 minute. See, just to connect you back here. XB is, see, this is my equation, right? XB is B inverse B minus B inverse of N times of Xn minus B inverse of XS minus B inverse of XS. So this form is, this equation is written here by keeping XB on the left hand side, and then that is what is substituted here. So Xn has to come here, and then what happens here now when I write it, I am grouping this, yeah. So CB, first term is CB B inverse B minus CB B inverse N times of Xn plus, or rather minus CB B inverse of XS plus Cn Xn. Now I group the Xn terms together, so I can write this as CB B inverse of B plus Cn minus CB B inverse of N times of Xn minus CB B inverse of XS. This is what, this is how I can write it. Now these are called the reduced cost coefficients. These are called the reduced cost coefficients corresponding to the non-basic variables, and these are essentially the reduced cost coefficients corresponding to slack variables, which are denoted by y, and at optimal they will be denoted by y star. And this, if see all the non-basic variables which are actually both Xn from the regular set of variables and Xs from the slack set of variables, they are set to 0. So therefore the Z star at the optimal is CBB inverse of B. So at the optimal this is going to be CBB inverse of B. So therefore what we can write now is Z plus Cn bar Xn, taking it to the left hand side, plus y times Xs is equal to CB B inverse of B. Now again look, I have called CB B inverse as y star at the optimal, in general y. So I can further write this thing as y times of small b vector. So this is my y vector. What is the dimension of b vector? M cross 1. So what should be the dimension of CB B inverse vector? 1 cross M. Now you can check that CB is 1 cross M, B inverse is M cross M. So CB B inverse is going to be 1 cross M vector, which is what we want to be, and this is equal to y times of B. So at any step of the tabulo, when you look at the right hand side, this will keep this tabulo, this term will keep updating itself to y times of B value. Okay. So this is what we have got here. Now this can this term here, I can further write it as z plus, I can write it as z plus 0 times of xb plus cn bar times of xn plus y times of xs to be equal to this y times of b or cb b inverse of b. I can write it in this form also. So now let's see what operations we are doing. So what is Cn bar? I have written down as Cn bar, I have written as Cn minus Cn minus Cb b inverse of n. Okay. Now suppose I write at the top of this here Cb, okay, and corresponding to n, the upper place I write b in b itself. Here I write again, I repeat Cb b inverse, and I subtract this. Okay. So what will happen? This will become this will become identity matrix. So this whole thing will become Cb. So I will be subtracting Cb from Cb. So I will be getting this to be equal to 0, which is essentially what we have got here. So this whole thing can be thought of as this whole thing 0 times of xb plus cn bar xn bar can be thought of as a row vector 0 cn bar times xb xn, is it not? But 0 cn, this can be therefore be, if I write it in a row vector in a row vector form, so this will become 0 cn bar will become cb followed by cn, cb followed by cn, and then minus cb b inverse can be taken as common. So minus cb b inverse can be taken as common, and then b inverse of a, which is nothing but what is b inverse of, first will come the matrix B, then will come the matrix N. So this is not, but this is nothing but the matrix A itself. So because this is matrix A itself, this can be written as C vector, CBCN is nothing but C vector, CBB inverse is nothing but YA vector times of A. So therefore, this thing that I got here, 0, this vector which I got here, the 0 Cn vector times of xb xn is nothing but equal to nothing but C minus YA vector times of xb xn. So now let's come back to, let's relook a bit again the way we have done. Try to sort of recap again, starting from the beginning, trying to keep things organized. This is my original linear programming problem. I put a augmented form to it, then I put it in a algebraic form, then I wrote it in a tabular form, then I reorganized it in this nice matrix form, then I called what a small vector t as this C00 minus C00 and capital T as AIMB, and the initial tabulo is T and T, with this always remaining the same. Then I said that Z minus, to write the tabulo of a revised form, I say that Z minus Cx minus 0xs is equal to 0. So I reorganize it into B and N form. I get xb. I substitute xb and eliminate the xb variables and write everything only in terms of the non-basic variables, and I get this particular form. And then these are the reduced cost coefficients. These are the cost coefficients, negative of the reduced cost coefficients and the negative of the reduced cost coefficients for slack variable, which is equal to the objective function value. So I have taken, except for this which I have kept on the right hand side, everything else has been moved to the left hand side as is done in the tabulo. Now this is called B inverse is called as y vector, and we showed that this whole thing can be written as C minus ya times of x vector. So this is the most important thing that we tried. That means this can be written as plus 0 times of 0 times, yeah. So 0 times of xb whole of this can simply be written as C minus ya. This is very important thing that we learnt out of here. So then what happens to our final form? So capital Z minus capital Z minus this whole thing written as C minus ya times of x vector plus y times of xs vector is equal to CB B inverse of B, and then these equations, this equation to this equation is nothing but multiplying the A matrix by B inverse and the right hand side matrix also by right hand side vector also by B inverse is written as B inverse of A times of AX plus B inverse of XS is equal to B inverse of B. This minus is definitely not there. So this is written as this becomes our constraint. These become our constraint equations. So if you now try to reorganize this set of equations in the tabulo form, what will you get? First is initial tabulo, which is minus C vector, then 0 vector for slack variables, 0 for RHS value, which is the value of Z when you start it. Now the remaining tabulo, which corresponds to constraint matrix, is B inverse of is A matrix, then identity matrix for the slack variable, M cross M identity matrix for slack variable, and the slack variables take the value B. Now at the final tabulo, when you conclude, usually that's what is important for us, it's true even at the intermediate steps, this has transformed to Z star minus C star. Okay, so we need to say what is our Z star. So y times of A, 1 cross M into M cross N. So this is a this is y is 1 cross M, M cross N. So ya becomes a 1 cross N vector. This 1 cross N vector, we are denoting it by a small letter z. The capital letter Z is for objective function, small letter z is for the vector into matrix product y times of A. So we are writing this as C minus Z instead of writing everywhere as C minus ya, we are writing it as C minus of Z, and then when you open it, this minus of Z will come with this minus sign, will get a positive sign, so it becomes plus Z, and this C gets associated with minus sign, so it becomes minus C star. So therefore this whole thing comes in the tabulo, which is, imagine here at the top I have written x1 to xn and below I have written the coefficients. Then what are those coefficients turning out to be? Z star minus C star, where Z star is nothing but y star of A. And what is y star? Y star is nothing but, we have already defined y star somewhere, yeah, CB B inverse. This is what we have defined y as. So the y star corresponds to the value at the final tabulo CB into B inverse of that. So that is Y star of B, that is Y star which will come here. Can you see this? This thing is coming out as Z star minus C star. After that you will have columns written xn plus 1 to xn plus m. Correspondingly Y stars will come, and then is equal to RHS, which is CBB inverse is nothing but Y star. CBB inverse is nothing but Y star times of B, which is the objective function value. Now the notationally B inverse at the optimal is written as S star, other places it is written as S matrix, which is a M cross N matrix. XB star, which is B inverse at the optimal times B vector, is also written as B star. And Z vector, which is YA at the optimal, is Z star is Y star of B. So therefore, this at the final tabulo, this is multiplied by S star. This is what is multiplied by B inverse at the optimal, which is S star. So I get S star of A. I get S star of A plus S star with excess variables, which is xn plus 1 to xm. Imagine here, what comes below is B inverse at the optimal, which is S star, and then B inverse at the right hand side is B inverse at the optimal times of B, which we are calling it as B star. So this is my final tabulo. The first row is small t star, all the remaining rows are put in a matrix submatrix form as capital T star. So the row 1 to M are capital T star, and the row 0 is small t star. Again, I have just shown this operation, I have expanded here and shown that okay. Now what I want to show now further, I want to reorganize this T star as, first I take this minus C star out here, plus imagine a 0 star sitting here, 0 vector of dimension M sitting here, which I have taken it out here. Imagine this as y plus 0 vector. So, and a scalar 0 also in addition sitting there. So I have plus of 0. So I have taken minus C y star plus another 0 vector 0, and y star b plus a scalar 0 plus 0 as this thing left hand side, taken it out, which corresponds to the what was at the row 0 at the initial tabulo when I was at the beginning, and then what had changed, I have reorganized it here. So this is going to be so C star is not actually correct. I should just write it as C. I'm sorry. So I should just write it as C. And then what I have got here is Z star, Y star, remaining part, and Y star B. Is it not? So minus C, 0, 0 grouped here, Z star, Y star B grouped here, and added appropriately. So added appropriately. This is nothing but T star. So this part represents the superimposition on the original row 0 of the tabulo. Now let's write that clearly. So what is Z star? Z star is Y star A. What should be written for Y star? Y star B. And what should be written for Y star B? Again Y star B only. So then this is the original T, and I can take Y star common here out. This is 1 cross M into M cross N. This is 1 cross M. This is 1 cross M into 1 cross M cross 1, which is 1 cross 1. So everywhere this Y star 1 cross M vector is pre-multiplying from the left hand side. So I can take it out common. So I take it out on the left hand side as common and write it as Y star A, I and B. But what is the AIB matrix? That is the original T for the row 1 to row M of the initial tabulo. So therefore, at the final tabulo, T star is nothing but T plus Y star of T. At intermediate steps also it will be updated similarly, but usually we are interested at what happens at the final position. So T star can be written as original T, the 0th vector, plus Y star, the shadow prices, times the original tabulo T. Now let's look at T star. So T star is S star of T star is S star of A, which is B inverse of A, where B inverse is at the optimal, then S star which is B inverse itself, and P star which is B inverse of B. So B inverse can be taken again on the left hand side common. B inverse at the optimal is S star. So S star of A, I and B. But what is AIB? AIB is the original row 1 to row m of the tabulo shown by capital T. So therefore final tabulo is written as T star is equal to S star of T. Capital T star is equal to S star of capital of T. So this leads us to the following fundamental insights of the tabulo approach. T, the small t is the 0th row of the initial tabulo, which is minus C, then 0 vector for slack variables, a scalar 0, then the submatrix T, which is A matrix, then identity matrix and B matrix, and we define shadow price Y as CB into B inverse, where clearly this CB is the cost vector for basic variables 1 cross M, B inverse is a M cross M matrix, and this is usually shown by S, so therefore this is written as CB times of S, and Y is a 1 cross M vector. Now with this, as the if we know where our optimal is, then T star at the optimal is just the T in the original plus Y star of T, which can be written as Z star minus C, Y star of B, and T star is the final tabulo matrix is nothing but S star of T. So the point is, if we know, see, original data we always know, original data of the problem we always know, so this part we always know. Suppose we are given only this Y star and S star, even then we can immediately update and write our complete tabulo. So the critical information in the final tabulo, which is required to completely enumerate the tabulo, is Y star and S star, the inverse of the basis at the final solution. And then the objective function value is shadow price times of Y star of B, and B star is nothing but B star, which is B inverse of capital B inverse of B, which is S star of B, is nothing but the XB star, and all other variables are set to 0. So with this fundamental insight now understood, now let me finally address that question which I had left open, saying that I said that assume that all the basic variables are coming from x1 to xn, and then for simplicity I assumed them to be x1 to xm, so that partitions could be written very smoothly and all that. And I assumed that in the final basis this slack variables are not going to appear. So if slack variables become non-basic variables at optimal, what does it mean? It means they all go to 0. So for example, suppose your first constraint was 3x1 plus 5x2 is less than or equal to 3. Suppose there was one more constraint, 2x1 minus 3x2 is less than or equal to say 4. Then after adding slack variables, you would have added, let's say, a slack variable plus x3 is equal to 3, and here you would have added plus x4 2x1 minus 3x2 plus of x4 is equal to 4. So now suppose at the if at the optimal x3 star is 0 and x4 star is 0, as my case I assume that all slack variables are in the non-basic variable list, then what it means? It means 2x1 star plus 5x2 star is equal to 3 and 2x1 star minus 3x2 star is equal to 4, which means that both these have become binding constraints. So in other words, what I assumed that even though Ax is less than or equal to B, at the optimal Ax star is equal to B and all of them have become binding. Now suppose that does not happen. So let's say that at the final tabulo x4 retains a value of 1. Okay. So then what happens to the second constraint? Then the second constraint says that 2x1 star minus 3x2 star is equal to 3, because x4 star is taken as 1. So therefore this becomes equal to 3, which is strictly less than 4. So therefore this constraint is no more binding, this is not binding, or this is non-binding or inactive constraint. So this becomes a non-binding or inactive constraint. So for example, to illustrate it kind of graphically, suppose this was my feasible region of the linear programming problem, and let's say my maximization objective function was happening at this vertex. So then these two are the binding constraints which are given to me, and I had three constraints C1, C2 and C3, where each one is of the form Ci is of the form AI transpose X is less than or equal to Bi form. Then these two are, the first two have become binding, while the third one is far away from the solution, not binding. So therefore I would have got for the third equation A3 transpose X is strictly less than B3. Since the optimal is here and this constraint has no role to play, even if I had not given it in the original problem, it would have not made any difference. That's what that's what this amounts to saying. So I could as well have dropped it with hindsight. I could have as well dropped it from my original problem and then written the tabulo, and then everything that I said corresponds to case A. So after that, once I have got this T star and T star corresponding to my after dropping this whatever I have got, now this to this what I will do is I will add this equation 2x1 minus 3x2 plus of x4 is equal to B4. So now to this, when I add this, what is going to happen? This is a new variable which has come into picture. So the terms which will come all in the above columns, upper rows in the column corresponding to the upper rows will all be 0. Now somewhere here is the basic, somewhere here is sitting the basic basic variables which have in the row 0, 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But now this minus 2, minus 3, etc. have come in the new last row. This has come into place. So this is why the structure of this tabulo is not correct. This does not correspond to the structure which we want at the final iteration or any intermediate step either. So what we should do here? First row we should multiply by 2, subtract from the last one. Second one we should multiply by 3, add it to the last row. And when we do that, corresponding operations will also be done at B4. And so this number will also change to B4 bar. So after doing this, that is eliminating or rather annihilating all the coefficients in the column corresponding to the basic variables, we will get a new transformed form which is like 0 times x1 minus 0 times x4, etc., etc., whatever non-basic variables, plus of x4 is equal to b4. So therefore, the non-basic variable will take a value corresponding to this b4 bar. That's one thing which is clear. The other thing is, this coefficient is 1. When I multiply this with anything and subtract from here, this remains 0, 0, 0. So therefore, in that thing B inverse which was sitting in the excess, to which I have now added the last excess plus 1, this becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. Something else has changed here when I did these eliminations, and this one correspondingly has come 1 here. So the new updated form of B inverse is this. This is the new updated form of the m cross m plus 1 times of m plus 1 B inverse, and you can immediately see that this xs plus 1 xs plus 1 variable, only thing that has happened is it still has remained its place at the retained its place at the m, and the B inverse matrix is, this is the new B inverse matrix, which will always be seen in your tabulo. So therefore, the way we have done it is, the point which I am trying to say is that even if the slack variable comes in the final variable as a basic variable, this last part still retains it contains the B inverse information. The x1 number, the matrix below x n plus 1 to x m n plus m will always be the inverse of the basis matrix. Once this inverse at optimal is known and y star is known, so once this inverse is known and S star is known and y star is known, everything about the final tabulo is known can be derived from the original tabulo. This is called the fundamental insight. Thank you.